Bill Burr and Jimmy Kimmel have gone just about as low as you can go on late night TV, hosted by Disney. And Bob Iger might have something to say about this one. It turns out that unexpectedly, shockingly, Bill Burr is out there mocking, in our estimation, those who have lost everything in the devastation that is the Los Angeles fires. Folks, will tell you why we never tire of calling out hypocrisy and smug. Hang on, click the like button, and here we go.
That's a big word we're hearing now.
Mismanaged, like some idiot on the internet knows how to manage the worst fire in LA, sitting there in his underwear. You know what? Looking at the footage on the internet, I have determined that this here was mismanaged.
Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we as ever endeavor to explain entertainment, keeping you ahead of the culture curve. It's what we do. The Hollywood Hollyweirds just cannot understand, but we do it for you. Folks, we only ask that you click that like button, and here we go with a panel that you know is all that and a bag of chips. Here's what we have. This is out of Victor Shi, and you could say, well, who's Victor Shi? Well, Victor Shi is the youngest Democratic delegate and an activist. And so the way that this is being portrayed on the activist side of things is very different than the reality. And we're going to break down for you why I think Jimmy Kimmel and Bill Burr have achieved an all-new low that we've never seen before on late night TV. And it's time for Disney to do something. This is too far. We'll explain it. Hang with us. Here we go. All right, from Victor Shi, Bill Burr nailed it about the LA fires on Jimmy Kimmel last night. He says, I think they did a great job, unlike the internet. Mismanaged, like some person on the internet knows how to manage the worst fire in LA, sitting there in his underwear. Watch this. In other words, the activists are using what happened on Jimmy Kimmel last night as a way to drive a message. And the message that is being driven, well, that message is abhorrent, it's terrible, it's disgusting, it's vile, it's inhumane. We'll show you. But it's happening on Disney's network. This is Disney. You can say it's Jimmy Kimmel. This is ABC. This is Disney. This is Disney money going into this. Bill Burr, by the way, has worked with Disney many times in the past. And whatever you think of Bill Burr as a comedian, you might change your mind after we assess what he says. Here's the clip.
I heard you had to evacuate your home.
Yes. Like most people, I had to. I got lucky, the winds moved, but the fire was coming and all that stuff. So I feel lucky.
Are you guys back in?
And I think everybody did a great job.
Yeah.
Unlike the internet,
Yeah, right. I know. It's right.
Oh, my God. All of these fire experts. Why didn't you just fly a helicopter into the ocean? And then just, I don't know, because there was 100-knot winds. You want to do that? You want to do that at night, you lunatic?
How are you?
This was definitely mismanaged.
Just for a second, let me say this. I want you to imagine something.
I'm sorry, it is.
It's funny.
This guy.
There's also the bonus of he's saying it with a Boston accent, which makes everything just +2 on humor.
Let me just put this into a relative state for a moment. Now, this guy's house has been spared. He got lucky. He says he's lucky, so his house is spared. Now, we've already said that there's an area the size of the city of Paris or greater. And for those of you who don't know the size of Paris, maybe go with the Walt Disney World Resort, which is the size of Manhattan, 40 square miles, completely burned to the ground. So he's a lucky one. His house doesn't burn down. And he goes on late night TV, and I'm willing to bet that some percentage of the people whose homes burned down, that they're not happy that water did not shoot out of the hydrants. And I got a feeling that some percentage of the people whose everything, all of their properties, all of their files, all of their documents, all of their family photos, their heirlooms. I got a feeling that the people who lost all of that, they don't like being cursed out and called lunatics because they say, why was there not water in the reservoir? So when Bill Burr does this, it's easy to apologize and brush this away and say, oh, well, he's talking about some online idiot in Pennsylvania or Michigan, or Mississippi, and they don't know what they're talking about. They've never fought a fire in their life, and that's who he's really talking about. But it's a very painful thing to sit there and think, how does someone in a hotel room right now feel? spending their money in a hotel room because everything they have is gone. And this guy went out on TV and said, you want to complain with the Boston accent? You want to complain about no water in the hydrants? Blank you. And everybody laughs. Let's play through and then we'll bring the panel in for this one. It's a reprehensible thing. Here we go.
That's a big word we're hearing now.
Mismanaged, like some idiot on the internet knows how to manage the worst fire in LA, sitting there in his underwear. You know what? Looking at the footage on the internet, I have determined that this here was mismanaged.
Go ahead, Jonas.
Mismanaged. Mismanaged is not a big word. Oh, sorry.
No, this is a different sentiment than the previous one. No, there is very clear mismanagement on all of this. It's very. I mean, they had no water. The diversion of water sources in California and the dry hydrants that are obviously not meant to fight wildfires, but you know where they're very helpful? In residential neighborhoods that are burning down. Okay. Maybe he decided to keep going. Maybe he got into comedian brain and just decided, I'm gonna ape on this. I'm gonna vamp on this for a little while here. But this is too far, in my opinion.
And Kimmel's laughing like a hyena.
This is giving Newsom an excuse.
Exactly, Jonas. And when I look at this, there's part of my brain that's just like, okay, yeah, he's joking about the people, on the internet. Not to say that that's everybody, but that's the laugh part. But on the other side, again, you've got some people who have lost everything, and it would have been cool if he would have went back to that, all jokes aside. Look, there's people here who have lost everything, especially line workers in LA, blue collar people who have lost everything, but he's not thinking about that. What he's thinking about, and I'm just guessing here, but being around enough actors, I think I can say this pretty safely. It's about his time being there with the camera on him and yucking it up with Jimmy Kimmel. He is not thinking at all about anybody else. He's like, I'm safe. My house is safe. I'm just going to joke and all of that. And I'm not really thinking about everybody else.
Culture, I know you wanted to weigh in. Let's go to Culture first because he wanted to weigh in. And then Vash will play another clip and I'll get you on that one. Please.
Yeah, my sentiment's the same thing as Jonas's was. I'm irritated. Jimmy Kimmel, mismanagement's not a big word. Okay, that's a small word, and it doesn't take anybody to use 2 seconds of their brain capacity to recognize that these residents were done dirty by the lack of prevention. The prevention measures were in place. Vash broke down, the fact that these reservoirs and these other preventative items should have been in place that the people had voted for a decade ago. The fact that he doesn't know enough, and he's admitted as much many times that he doesn't watch the news.
He's a dunce.
Yeah, he doesn't watch the news. He doesn't pay attention, and he made a bunch of jokes that Tim Pool referenced on one of his news things that regarding whether or not he was going to wear, PPR. But I look at him and I go, okay, initially you said something funny, but when you went to double down, which is, again, that's comedy brain, I think is what Jonas called it, or someone here called it. But when he doubled down on that path, he really did a disservice to anybody who was watching. And of course they're going to capitalize on this. And of course Disney's okay with this, Pro. They're okay with this because they want to become relevant again. And they're not. The people on the ground that I was watching, the people who live in the area that I was watching, who were out there as citizen journalists reporting on their phones, were doing better. Exactly. Altadena specifically. They were doing a much better job than the on the ground reporting that was done by, people who, don't have anything at risk. It's why citizen journalism, it's why Elon Musk is correct. It's why the new types of media are going to be more successful in the future, because not only are they authentic, they have skin in the game. These are people who live in the area, right? I don't even live in the area, right? I haven't been in California in quite some time, but I'll tell you, I still have memories of the places that are no longer there. And I fear for like one of my favorite places in California, which is in San Diego County, which has the same kind of irresponsible decision making with lack of prevention in place. Those hills above San Diego specifically, and anywhere in there, if there's not a proper marine layer at the beginning of every day, that's kindling for a massive fire and more destructive than even the one we are seeing around Los Angeles.
It's still burning. It's still burning.
Yeah.
By the way, Culture, what if I told you that I believe that we've got evidence, and we're about to show it, that this is all part of a callous marketing campaign by Bill Burr that is taking advantage of this horrible tragedy for his own gain? What if I told you that? That's a new level of bad, right? We'll go there.
It would even lower my opinion, a very low opinion about him in the first place. So, would it surprise me if it were that callous? Actually, no. I think
let's get ready. We'll bring it up. We'll show it to the people so they know what's really going on. Here's more of the clip.
You know about helicopters because I remember, and it's interesting now thinking about it, because you said that
about it. I know about the one that I fly. Other than that, I don't know anything about it.
You know
But
something.
if you're on
about,
the internet, you know everything.
I hope you know about it, because you said that you got your pilot's license in case like all hell broke loose in LA, you could get out of LA. And at any moment, did you think, I'm going to make a run for that helicopter?
Well, the error in my thought was I didn't realize how expensive helicopters were. So all I have is a 2-seater, and I didn't want to have to make Sophie's choice with my family.
So he gets back to some level of humor there. That's better. But mocking the people who are saying, hey, my house is gone and everything I love is gone, and I think it's because of mismanagement. Mocking them and cursing them, not good. So what is the purpose of all this? Well, Vash, take a look at this. This is out of Variety, and this is back from the 14th, just 2 days ago. Bill Burr on adapting his a-hole vibe, wanting a hostile crowd for new Hulu special, and how a rabbi changed his perspective on censorship. This is from Ethan Shenfield. And we would assume that this article was prepared, prepped, and put out in spite of the fires, probably prepped days ahead and put out as part of a marketing campaign to get ready for the Netflix adaptation. And so it seems to me there's a real serious question of, did Bill Burr go on Jimmy Kimmel in order to create this, what he calls, a-hole vibe and generate a hostile crowd, not Netflix, for Hulu? And by the way, who owns Hulu? Disney. Vash, I'll give you one on this.
Almost Disney.
Yeah,
that's right.
Thing, right? 66% as of this point right now. I mean, that's an interesting point, because I don't think really anybody can look at what happened in LA County and go, yeah, everything's on the up and up. No issues, no problem. Now I understand you want to criticize people who are criticizing a place where you live. The issue, though, is that a lot of those people live in the United States, and because this exceeds now $250 billion in damage, well, it's going to have to be a national effort in order to rebuild. So, yeah, you're going to have a lot of people comment on this because, well, it's going to be, the American tax dollar that's going to have to foot the bill for what happened in LA County. That's the thing about all of this. The way you know that this was mismanaged is, well, the Santa Ana winds passed through not just LA County, they also passed through Orange County. We didn't really see remarkable devastation in Orange County, however. That's weird. It features a lot of the same topographical features that LA County does. It features a lot of the same brush. A lot of the same components exist in both counties. But the only thing different is management. That's interesting. Is OC a little bit redder than LA? Believe it is. Maybe that has something to do with it. Yeah, I think it's quite feasible that Bill Burr, knowing all of this, might have induced a little bit of a rage bait in order to get the audience that he wanted. I think that's one could say that was the case, because anybody looking at this, I think that it's clear as day what happened here. And that's why we just covered a story. That's why you have a lot of news articles, news publications like CNN, LA Times coming out and saying, you know what, something did happen here, because their reputation obviously relies on that.
So let me throw this out there, and then panel, you tell me what you think. My opinion is that they had scheduled Bill Burr to be on Jimmy Kimmel before the fire started. and that as part of his appearance, he was supposed to make people mad because Disney, which owns ABC and pays Jimmy Kimmel, wants this Hulu special to do well, and he's wanting to create a hostile crowd for the new Hulu special because he's trying to curate, and probably because somebody told him this is a good idea, some agency, maybe Disney itself said, hey, you're going to be the new a-hole. That's your job. A-hole numero uno. And so, this is a persona you're going to play. And the problem is they did that, seems to me, at the cost of mocking the people who lost everything. They may not have been aiming at them, but if anybody has a problem with mismanagement, even if they lost everything, they're in this category, I think, of people who were just mocked. And it's not appropriate, in my opinion. Panel, what say you?
No, it's not appropriate at all. But what we've seen from Disney in the past anyway is they're not above trashing an audience in order to get views. And this is pretty much what this is. He's got a special coming up. I had no idea he did, nor really did I care. But whether it's a friendly watch or a hate watch, it's still a watch. And what they're going for is to get as many eyes on this special as possible. It's just sad that Bill Burr couldn't have been more aware of what other people are going through.
Look at how smug they are
there in LA, and to just bring folks together. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Look how smug they are. Just look at the way.
Yes, that's the thing. It's really smug. Case in point, I've seen video of I think of like a Mel Gibson, and he was just like, it's just stuff. There's people around me who lost much more, and he didn't look smug. But Bill Burr looks exactly. He does not look like someone who is not just happy or blessed that he didn't lose anything, but isn't heartbroken for the people who have lost.
It's just a really tragic situation, and I think people have to be careful about how they talk about it, because there are people who have perished in this fire, and that number is always increasing. You're talking about tens of thousands of structures being burned the way they are. You gotta be really careful.
And think about any other mass casualty tragedy in the history of America. And imagine that while it is happening, that somebody went on Johnny Carson or Jay Leno or Dave Letterman, Conan O'Brien, whoever, and basically cursed and profaned the people who were saying we could have done better. Like, this is not acceptable. And the fact that Disney allowed it, we'll see what the fallout is. But I'm kind of surprised, even for Disney, that they didn't have Sonny Hostin's reps running out on stage with a paper for Bill Burr and Jimmy Kimmel to read.
Well, I would defend that in this way, and this is just informational for those of you out there. Unlike The View, which is considered part of ABC News, Jimmy Kimmel is not considered serious in any way, and nobody should listen to him.
Exactly. As ever, folks, we endeavor to have a good time here on the Pro Channel, and I have to say that spending time with you, talking about things that truly matter, like the stories that shape our lives and our culture, well, it is the ride of a lifetime to steal from Bob Iger. And that's the only thing we'll steal from Bob, because he has great security around his yacht. Folks, as we get ready to say goodbye, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it, and stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment right on down below. Let us know your thoughts. We would love to hear from you. And folks, worry not, for more content is still on the way. 3 or 4 times a day. Let's do 4. I think that's better. And you know what? Don't forget that the Pro Show is live Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon Eastern. You can also join us for our friends on That Park Place, our partner program. We have a good time there too. Folks, until the next time we get the opportunity to have a good time with you, keep learning, keep growing, and as ever, keep having fun.